Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. This is Coates the Charlatan by Mike Cote, Commentary Magazine, December 2024 edition, edited merely for space. The essence is here. Ta-Nehisi Coates, the author and thinker who has served as the avatar for the progressive racial movement since he began blogging at The Atlantic during the Obama administration, has reemerged after a hiatus spent writing comic books. His new work of nonfiction is The Message. Like much of his work, it's a Rorschach test. If one already is primed to agree with him, the book likely seems a staggering work of genius. But for those who are skeptical or neutral, it is clearly lacking as a persuasive or even accurate portrayal of the issues it discusses. The Message is shaped throughout by narcissism, parochialism, factual errors, deliberate decontextualization, incuriosity, and deep-seated bias. Any one of these flaws would deal a severe blow to any claim for the Message, but combined they should be fatal to Coates' reputation. The most memorable takeaway from a section is Coates' repeated insistence, contrary to all historical and genetic evidence, that ancient Egyptians were dark-skinned sub-Saharan Africans, memorable in that it indicates deep unseriousness that permeates this book. Coates derides America for its focus on individual liberties and presents the fundamental rights to commerce, self-defense, and personal choice as akin to wanting, quote, an arsenal of infinite AR-15s, end quote, and, quote, the biggest and greenest of lawns, end quote. He promotes instead a youth-focused, progressive ideological project aimed at understanding our history as being steeped in oppression. Quote, we have lived under a class of people who ruled American culture with a flaming cross for so long that we regularly cease to notice the import of being ruled at all, he writes, end quote. This is the core of what he believes and seeks to transfer to a new generation that our country is, root and branch, evil. America is not the only target of The Message, for Israel bears the brunt of Coates' broadside in the book's second half. Coates deems Israel an oppressive apartheid state that treats Palestinians just as America treated blacks in the Jim Crow South. He writes confidently on the topic, despite having spent only 10 days in the country and having read only a few books recommended by former PLO spokesman and current Columbia University professor Rashid Khalidi, and speaking with Palestinian activists and Israeli leftists. Coates even goes so far as to claim that Zionism used America as a model. This is not the only odd contention in this part of the book. He also argues that the world wars were race wars with, quote, deep roots in America, end quote, that Ottoman-era Arab cities were more developed than their European counterparts, and that, quote, Palestinians owned 90% of all land in mandatory Palestine, end quote. None of these pronouncements is supported with any evidence, as they are insupportable. The reader is simply expected to take the word of Ta-Nehisi Coates as authoritative. Far more important than what Coates includes is what he deliberately omits. Nowhere in The Message do the words Iran, Hamas, Hezbollah, or October 7th appear, despite the majority of the writing and editing having occurred after that fateful date. Coates spoke only to those who ratify his preconceived narratives about school curricula, race, and Israel. He never once mentions the long history of Palestinian rejectionism, anti-Semitic terrorism, or the various peace offers that Israel has unilaterally made. He harps on settler violence but fails to note the well-established pay-for-slay program of the Palestinian Authority. He argues that Arab Muslims essentially have no rights in Israel proper. That is patently untrue, as anyone who's paid attention could have seen in the exposure of the complete integration of Arab Israelis in the country's medical system, while it has been working overtime after the attacks and during the war. Coates reverses the causality of the various Arab wars of extermination against Israel, blaming the victim and whitewashing the genocidal ideology that undergirded the Palestinian cause. He claims that the 1948 war was driven by Israeli hunger for land and desire to ethnically cleanse their territory, whereas history documents the opposite. Israel wanted partition, and it was the Arabs who rejected it. He downplays the historic Jewish connection to the land. Indeed, he refers to the entirety of Israel as Palestine, from the river to the sea. Coates has no interest in inquiring as to the purpose of Israel's security measures, simplistically attributing them to evil motives. The 10 days he spent in Israel came at the end of May 2023, in the middle of a months-long wave of Palestinian terrorism that claimed 13 lives and included more than 100 attacks in Jerusalem and its environments. This is clearly why security measures had been ramped up at major tourist sites and fancy hotels, prime targets for terrorists. Ta-Nehisi Coates has been courting controversy for years with his progressive polemics, but he is not in the least controversial where it counts, in the rarefied world in which he travels. Ever since the essay he wrote for The Atlantic, demanding that reparations for slavery be paid to people like him 150 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, his every word has been awaited with bated breath by that group. His every publication heralded as a major event. The message was treated as a Moses moment, with Coates coming down from the mountaintop, albeit with tablets he had written. But the book reveals Coates not as a prophet or lawgiver, but as charlatan. Ironically enough, Coates dedicates the message to students in his journalism class. Throughout the book, he tries to inspire them in pursuit of his chosen quest. But that quest isn't journalism, fact-finding, or working to reveal the truth, wherever it ends up. It is instead to lambast the United States, Western civilization, and the world's lone Jewish state, all to the vapid applause of liberal elites. The message is not a work of investigation or education about useful principles and ideas, but Coates is not in the business of edification. He is in the business of proselytization, and among political elite, business is booming. In any event, that is Coates the Charlatan by Mike Cote, Commentary Magazine, December 2024. As usual, I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments, and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel, and certainly would welcome you taking a look at any of my 34 books. Perhaps most notably relevant to this would be A Dose of Reality. Just go to Amazon, you'll find it. And my name, Nemco, you'll probably need to add that. But in any event, I do thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemco.